for the season. Now, I watched every dribble of that game on TV, but what happened between LeBron and Stephen A. was not shown, possibly because the broadcast had gone to commercial. This was during a stoppage of play, some kind of dead ball situation, a timeout, a replay review. I'm not sure what it was, but the game had stopped in the third quarter, and LeBron walked straight over to Stephen A., pretty much blindsided him during the game, and according to Stephen A., said, "You got to stop talking shit about my son. You got to stop with my son. That's my son. That's my son," said Stephen A. Stephen A. also said he responded with, "Let's talk about it after the game." But as he said that, LeBron was turning away and walking back out onto the floor because the game was about to resume. So the entire exchange took, 8 seconds? Now think about this. How weak was that on LeBron's part to choose that time and that place to deliver that message? LeBron knew exactly what he was doing. He knew this one-sided confrontation would be captured on cell cameras and that the video would immediately explode all over the internet and that lip readers would have a field day, or in this case, a field night. But this was a flat-out ambush, a drive-by, a premeditated and calculated move by LeBron James to show up Stephen A. in front of the NBA world while giving Stephen A. no face-to-face time to respond. I mean, what if Stephen A. had at least been able to say, "LeBron, your son's a great kid, but he can't make threes, and I haven't seen him play any defense yet." LeBron didn't want any rebuttal, no facts. This was just a delusionally, irrationally, insanely proud pop telling off Stephen A. Smith, knowing this debate was rigged. Stephen A. would have no time to respond. LeBron hit and LeBron ran. Frankly, that was pretty cowardly.
Okay, so let me just stop this video real fast because, Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, they've been knowing each other for, I would say, 25 years. And, 25 years, that's a long time. So Skip Bayless recording this video just goes to show that he actually cares about Stephen A. Smith. So let's get back to the clip.
Now, I'm sure Stephen A. would have been happy to continue that discussion after the game in the locker room, maybe after the media had cleared out, or maybe outside the locker room, well, after the game, or I don't know, wherever LeBron wanted to meet up. Nope. This was about as fair as what happened in Gladiator when Commodus mortally wounded Maximus before he had to go out into the Coliseum and fight for his life. So Stephen A. responded to LeBron the only way he could on all of his platforms, along with those of some others. I don't blame him a bit for that. Now, did Stephen A. milk it for all it was worth? Sure he did. That's the business we're all in. LeBron took his shot, which was a cheap shot. Then Stephen A. fired back with all his media might. Way to go, Stephen A. Then LeBron bleeping James, all-time leading scorer in the history of the National Basketball Association, stooped even further, got really, really petty. He chose to go on another ESPN show, Pat McAfee's, the day before the Lakers played at Indy. McAfee's show is based just outside of Indy. LeBron said on that show that Stephen A. is on a Taylor Swift tour run. It was funny, but a petty shot. LeBron, you might as well be the tour director for that Taylor Swift tour. You might as well be the rocket fuel because you're acting far more immature than your 20-year-old son ever thought about acting. Then LeBron tried on the McAfee show to weasel out of everything by saying, and I quote, that Stephen A. completely missed the whole point. The whole point. Never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport and criticize players about what they do. That is your job, to criticize. Look, if you truly believe that Bronny's an NBA player worthy of wearing that uniform on a nightly basis, then he's obviously fair game for anyone in the media to critique. You're speaking out of both sides of mouth. And LeBron, what Stephen A. said in late January was completely fair and completely true. Now, you certainly can argue that both LeBron and Stephen A. looked bad as this beef took the low road and pretty much stayed on the low road. Both of them looked bad. But the point was, LeBron started it.
Hey, what's up, y'all? So first of all, I want to thank y'all so much for tapping into my channel. I appreciate y'all. And the clip I do show y'all, that was Bayless, and he was finally speaking about the LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith beef, because as you may know, LeBron James, he decided to step to Stephen A. Smith 2 weeks ago, and after that, I would say 2 days later, Bayless, he interviewed Stephen A. Smith, but he never asked Stephen A. Smith any questions about the that incident. And now, almost 2 weeks later, now Bayless decided to give his opinion about what happened. And Bayless, he's basically defending his friend, because Stephen A. Smith and Bayless, they've been friends for probably 25 years or maybe 30 years. So of course, if you have a friend that you've been rocking with for almost 30 years, of course you're gonna defend him. And that is exactly what Bayless did to Stephen A. Smith, because he said that LeBron James was weasel. He said, stop being such a weasel. And he said that LeBron James was basically weak for stepping to Stephen A. Smith like that. And excuse me, if you ask me, I think that Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James, you can blame both of them, because Stephen A. Smith, he has been accused of basically criticizing Bronny a little bit too much. And when I say criticize, I'm not talking about just giving him some pointers on how to improve his game. I'm talking about basically calling him some very derogatory words, I make a wish kid and things like that. When it comes to LeBron James, it was wrong of LeBron James to step to Stephen A. Smith like that, like he did. That is my breakdown of the LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith beef. And you best believe that Stephen A. Smith is gonna keep on talking. So let me know what you think about this. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next videos.